Alright, we should be live, we should be good to go, we should be here. Hello everyone, welcome to a stream. I haven't done a stream for just Digimon VPet stuff in a while. Have I ever done a stream for just VPet stuff? I don't know, I've done it for card games, I've done it for all sorts of things, but I don't know about VPet stuff. And I wasn't going to because, you know, we got news coming out next week, but I thought, hey, what the heck, it's Saturday night, let's have some fun. Let's talk about the upcoming Pendulum Z, and let's talk about what we think is going to be on the Wave 2 devices. As a refresher, we already know about Nature Spirits, we know about Deep Savers, and we know about Nightmare Soldiers, mostly. There's a few pieces that are still missing, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But yeah, definitely want to get everyone's thoughts, everyone's ideas on this. I'm going to show you, I've got pictures and everything, obviously, right here. I'm going to show you what I've got, but I want to see what everyone else thinks on this about the pieces that we don't yet know. Now, we should be getting news in the very early part of October. On October 5th, there's supposed to be a new issue of V-Jump that will have more information in it. Whenever we get that issue, fantastic, I'll make a video on that right away. But in the meantime, let's just have some fun here. So, hello everybody, Sir Snarl, Alibabit, Esteban, Closer, Alex J, Furman Cross, Venal Victorbell, Wrist. What's up, all of y'all? Glad you can make it tonight. And like I said, don't hold back on your predictions. So we'll just get right into this. Why not? So we got up on the screen right now, I've got a chart showing all the Digimon that are confirmed for the Nature Spirits device. Now the charts you see on the official Bandai site don't include the extra Digimon, so I've included those here. Those being Plotmon in its line, Agumon in its line, Agnemon in its line. All of which are unlockable Digimon that you get from connecting to another Pendulum Z device. Whether or not it'll work with the Wave 2 or just Wave 1 devices is not verified yet. They did specifically say you'd had to connect to a Deep Savers or Nightmare Soldiers device, but that was before we knew that Wave 2 was 100% confirmed. But either way, this is what we know will be on the device if you are able to unlock everything on it. Now we have a couple, or three rather, question marks that aren't known yet, and I've already talked about most of this list here, so I'm not going to rehash anything unless it's relevant to anything that we don't know yet. But looking at the three question marks here, we have one for the Ultimate line and two for the Super Ultimate one. Now, Super Ultimates, I'm going to go ahead and say up front, I have no idea. I've got no clue what the Super Ultimates will be, and I'm honestly believing that the two mysteries from each device are going to be brand new Digimon. That's at least what I'm hoping, because there's not really a good fit in existing Digimon to be considered Super Ultimate, especially above Digimon like Baihumon, and in Deep Savers we have Aegistramon, for example, who was an ultimate, just a regular Ultimate in the DM20, but is also the evolved form at Plesiomon in the Digimon story games, so it not being a Super Ultimate either, as well as all these other really powerful Digimon just being Ultimate levels, leads me to believe that the Super Ultimates may be entirely new Digimon. So, Gaomon is a selling point for me. Yeah, he's pretty freaking cool. Wave 2 are the ones that are missing. Yep, we just got a few other things here. And Vinyl, you hit right on the nose what we're going to be talking about. So, spoilers. If you care about spoilers for Digimon Adventure : well, you may want to close your ears for a few minutes. But Bandai doesn't really care about spoilers, so neither should you, to be honest, because they just throw everything around all day. So, we do know the scripts for the upcoming episodes, and this is where the spoilers begin. Orochimon will be appearing in Digimon Adventure 2020. We see Orochimon on this roster right here, and Sneaks was the first one to make me aware of it, and other people have probably come to the same conclusion that Orochimon's evolution that will be in an upcoming episode named Nidhoggmon will likely be the missing Ultimate here. So let's go ahead and put Nidhoggmon on the chart. Boom. Not the actual Digimon profile, but this is the best picture of Nidhogg that I can get. So we're just going to go ahead and throw him as cleanly as we can onto that little square. There we go. There we go. So we got Nidhoggmon. Beautiful. So that's what we have as a possible option for Nature Spirits. Now, he didn't line up with Orochimon in the roster, which I don't know how much they care about that. I don't know whether they are implying, like, there are definitely some lines that all do line up, like Gaomon and Algamon. Their lines line up straight across the board, but I don't know if that's intentional or if that just happens to be how it worked out. So that's what we have. Nidhogg. Yeah, I don't know what the music cutting off was. I heard that too. Apparently it feared Nidhogg I guess. So there we go. So we have Nidhoggmon here. I don't have anything else to say about Nature Spirits, honestly. If anyone else does, great. Does anyone have any better ideas? I see someone saying, what's that? Mirage? Yeah, Mirage Gaomon at burst mode. Possible. That's definitely a possibility. I personally would find burst modes to be like cheaping out if that's the way they went, because burst modes are cool and all, but I'd like whole new forms. So we'll see. And yeah, if you've never played Nidhogg, by the way, play Nidhogg. It's a blast. It's a fun game. All right, so let's move on to freaking Deep Sabers, my favorite. Except I hate looking at this chart like this because there's so. For a device that's all about aquatic Digimon, you would expect there to be more aquatic Digimon, but we got a lot of dinosaurs and clay dolls and an angel with swords, and do you need 2 Digivices to get past a certain evolution? You'll need multiple versions of the Pendulum Z to be able to unlock a lot of these Digimon. So Armadimon, Agumon in this chart, and everything in the lower section, you have to connect to other devices to get them. Agumon specifically, and all the other fiery, gray-type Digimon, you have to have all 3 devices in order to unlock those. So, yeah, my favorite ocean character / Angemon. Yeah. So, I love Deep Sabers. Deep Sabers is my favorite field, of course, and the thing is that they didn't have any mysteries on this one. They filled them all out, and they put in a ton of new Digimon. So you have Sangomon, you have Tobiyumon, you have Marine Chimeramon, who is the most beautiful on this, but yeah, there's not much to say. Again, they're super ultimates, but there's not really good candidates that I would say that should be in there. Because again, like Aegisdramon normally could be considered a super ultimate, but he's an ultimate, so I don't really have any good additions to say here. Now, there is one thing that I would like to point out, though. Let's go back to Nature Spirits for a second. There we go. So you see here that we have Plotmon, Tailmon. She can Jogress into Sylphimon, which can then evolve into Valkyramon. But we also have Anjouamon and Ophanimon down here, and the other 2 devices that have been confirmed, so Deep Sabers and Nightmare Soldiers, they do not have that extra little, so let's, oop. They do not have that those extra 2 evolutions marked on here. We just have Shakaomon and Angemon, but there's no other evolutions there. Now, I don't know if that means that there's going to be imbalance in the rosters. I personally don't think so, but we'll find out. But if they were going to include additional Digimon, who knows? Maybe we could see like friggin' Brachiamon and not Ultimate Brachiamon, but what's his name? Canondramon would be a good option if we were looking, I guess. So who knows about that? I got no idea if they will or will not. I hope they do, but I didn't have enough confidence to actually put them on this list. Ancient Megatheriumon, beautiful. And Marine Angemon Burst Mode, if they bring that back, I would be so happy. Freaking love that thing. We're just happy about Sirenmon. I'm glad someone is, because I didn't know, like, I saw Sirenmon pop up and I'm like, who? I think it was from, like, the Collectors or Crusaders digital games, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so that's what we have for Deep Sabers. No mysteries there. Nightmare Soldiers, moving on. We do have 1 mysterious slot still open in here. And again, no extra evolution for Stingmon to bounce off of. I know a lot of people's favorite Stingmon evolution is Jewel Beamon, but Jewel Beamon's already confirmed for Nature Spirits, so that's not going to be happening here. At least I wouldn't think so. So the mystery spot here, you'll notice the mystery spot in this case lines directly up with Chimeramon, and as such, it's pretty much, I'm assuming, what everyone thinks it's going to be. Where's my folder here of all my pictures? NSO, there we go. So there he is. No big surprises here. I got Millenniummon on my list. So again, that's very commonly associated with Chimeramon. He's basically Chimeramon and Mugendramon slammed together. So I'm just gonna throw him right there as the current most likely candidate. There we go. I kind of personally hope it's not that, but it just seems to make so much sense, especially with it being right next to that in the roster. Again, maybe the positions in the roster don't have any kind of correlation with each other. The evolutions being used in these devices is pretty random overall. Like, they're all over the place, so there's not like a lot of good clean lines, unless you consider like Mojimon to Mummymon a good clean line. Maybe you do. I'm not gonna judge, and then Mummymon evolves to Megidramon, so I don't know how closely they want them to correlate, but again, I'm just going off things like Algamon, where with Algamon, all 3 of his adult perfect and ultimates, they show up in the same line. So I'm guessing for that one that it would be Millenniummon and it would be cool. We haven't seen Millenniummon on a virtual pet before, so I'd be down with that. But that's so those are the 3 existing. The Super Ultimate would be Moon, Millennium, or Z, probably. I mean, there's a good option for that. Or again, like brand new. I would love to see brand new. I would also like to point out that Deathmon appears in Adventure 2020, and so there could be something to do with Deathmon that we don't know yet. That could be the Super Ultimate as well. Hard to say at this point. I don't want to speculate too much on Super Ultimates because there's just like nothing to go off of. So, Labramon line was the straight line too. Yeah, Labra to Dober, Cerbera, and Anuba, which I don't know if that line was that line actually used before. Was that on the D arc? I don't remember. I know that's like a very commonly used Labramon line amongst fans, but I don't remember if that was actually came up before. However, Flair-Lizermon to X-Tyrannomon to Ancient Sphinxmon, that's a true classic line right there. All right, moving on. Boom. This one is mostly empty. Now, of course, I have a few things in here already because these are... You all know these are going to go in. We got Gabumon, Wolfmon, Garurumon, Garamon, Were-Garurumon, Beowulfmon, Metal Garurumon, and then we have Yujo's keys. I don't know the keys in it things. I don't care what they are. Magna Garurumon and Suzanomon. You notice Suzanomon and the other ones too. I didn't bring him up, but because we have the hybrids being used so immensely, I would be surprised if Suzanomon didn't show up as an evolution of Kaiser Greymon and Magna Garurumon, so he's in there too. I should also say that I put the hybrids in as starting at adults, and I'm still not confident that that is absolutely what it's going to be. It's based on the number of Digimon, it's what I feel is most likely, but there's 2 reasons why it may not be that, and that is A, Duskmon showed up as a child on the Digital Monster X version 2, and Duskmon is a hybrid level that is normally considered an adult. It's a human hybrid. Those are generally adult levels. But the other reason being is that Beowulfmon, you'll notice, is under my ultimate column here, and Beowulfmon was considered a perfect on the Digimon Pendulum version 20th. So these all could be shifted slightly to the left, with Magna Garurumon being the final stage, or being the ultimate stage instead of Beowulfmon. I don't know, but I'm putting it like this for now because I feel like this is somewhat more likely, because otherwise, like 6 children, that's a lot of children for a device. You don't see a lot of devices with 6 children. What's up? Virus Busters. Yeah, Virus Busters we haven't gotten to yet. We'll be there soon enough. What was the top SU? I don't have too much speculation on the SUs, so we will see about those when they come out. Again, I think they're new, but we'll see. And you think that'll happen since DMX bounced for Fleezamon down to normal ultimate? Yeah, DMX is weird too with levels. Like you had Beelzebumon X as an ultimate in the first one, and then Super Ultimate in the others, and they just Ultimate and Super Ultimate are weird, really weird. They're just whatever they want them to be at the moment. So let's start filling out this list, huh? Let's start. This is Wind Guardians that we're looking at right here. Okay, so let's start throwing in some Wind Guardian Digimon. So first we got to look at the babies, right? And I feel like for this one, I'm pulling a lot from. For all 3 of these, I'm pulling a lot from the Excel. I kind of like the Excel a lot, alright? But for our baby, we have Puamon. Puamon's freaking adorable. Came right off the Excel and is just a cute little bird puff. We then have Puamon's normal evolution of Pinamon. It will go right next to Puamon. I might not do all these super clean, so forgive me. There we go. And, of course, those evolved into everybody's favorite, Falcomon. Now here's the thing with Falcomon before I place him, right? We have Falcomon, but we also have Falcomon. And this is where I'm getting a little bit hesitant to say one way or the other, is I don't know whether they'll stick with the original Falcomon or the anime Falcomon. They're different. They both have pretty different lines. They have the same Perfect, although it's a redesigned version of the same Perfect, but their adult and ultimate forms are different. So I personally like the original Falcomon better, so we're just going to go ahead and get rid of Falcomon 2006 out of there, and we're going to throw up Falcomon as our first child. And the child stage, a quick thing to note about that, so far it's been consistent that they have a vaccine, a data, and a virus, so I'm trying to stick with that. And it's leading to some problems in some part that you'll see, but we'll talk about that more in a minute, won't we? Falco G is likely given Survive. I agree. You know, if Survive ever happens, of course, but I think the original Falcomon is definitely got a good chance. So he's the one who I kind of let him win this competition because I like him better, but I also do think he has a better chance overall. Okay, so that's our vaccine. What about our data? Well, this one I had a really hard time with because here's the choice I came up with. Another Savers Digimon. We got Lalamon. And Wind Guardians is not just birds, it's plants too. Ever. Jungle Troopers device, if they ever made it, would be that, but they're only doing 6 of these because there's 6 original pendulums. If they do more than 6, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But we got Lalamon as our data because really that is the only one that actually makes sense at all. But the only reason I'm hesitant is because Lalamon's line in its entirety showed up on the Pendulum version 20th, so I feel like that kind of hurts its odds, but we're going to put it on just in case because I can't think of anything else. And a quick note too is that a lot of these where I'm going to say, I'm going to be completely honest with you, this roster, a lot of these that I'm putting on are probably going to get replaced with just Digimon that have never existed before. Brand new Digimon. Deep Saver saw a good plethora of new Digimon. I expect Wind Guardians to receive a good chunk too, because there's not a lot of birds and plants in Digimon, surprisingly enough. As such, we have Mushmon as the virus. And this, I don't believe at all. But seriously, someone tell me a better virus, plant, or bird, and I will put it up here, but I can't think of one. I literally cannot think of anything but Mushmon, so he is most likely to get voted off the island in favor of a brand new child Digimon, which I'd be excited to see. Whether that'll be a brand new plant or bird, we'll see. Yes, Fun Beamon, I would say not so much, just because that would... Jungle Troopers, yes, I would say Fun Beamon immediately, but since bugs are being associated with nature spirits in this case, I am less likely to say Fun Beamon for this one. Will the Falcomon line would be completed? I would think so. I would definitely... I've got the rest of them on here, so you'll see them soon enough. Soundbirdmon is... so someone else did bring that up to me, too. Soundbirdmon. But it looks really stupid. I don't know. I hate Soundbirdmon. So I did consider it, but I'm like... I don't know. I just didn't see it being a good choice overall. Because it's not only does it look stupid, but it's much more of an evil Digimon than it is a bird Digimon based on the design. So who knows? It very well could show up. I'm definitely not ruling out that possibility. So we'll see. All right, Tinkermon. Oh, that's another. Is Tinkermon a virus? I don't know. Well, that would be another option there. So either way, I think I want a plant virus. Do we have any plant virus? We have, well, Mushmon. Is there any plant viruses besides Mushmon? I can't think of it. I don't think we have a single bird virus. Penmon was another one I thought of for this list, by the way, but Penmon lost out to Falcomon. I kind of would prefer Penmon. I just find it less likely. So moving on, we have our last child that is not on this list already, and everyone should know who this is already. It is the one and only Hawkmon. And that's basically a guarantee. Hawkmon is on this device. Now, the only thing that's not guaranteed is whether it's on this device or one of the other two. Wind Guardians makes the most sense, but we'll see. It could be anything else. On the other ones, Tailmon did appear on the original Nature Spirits, and Armanimon at least can turn into Submarimon, so that makes sense for those two fields. Wormmon being Nightmare Soldiers was kind of like, felt like they didn't have anywhere else to put them, but we'll see. So Hawkmon is what I'm saying for this for now. Alright, and so that moves us on to the adults. And yeah, no one else has... No, you get your frickin' Sakai-amon out of here. We will have no recolors. We came close. Waruseedramon is close to recolor, but not quite a recolor by my definition, so I make the rules here. And so do I. Alright, so adults. So, as we have Falcomon there, obviously we have to have a Falcomon adult, but again, we have two choices here. We have Diatramon and we have Peckmon as good options for that, because we have Diatramon from the XL, we have Peckmon from the anime. I hate Peckmon, so it's my list, he goes away, Diatramon stays in. I would love to see Diatramon show up in something again. So let's go ahead and shrink you up. Boom, there we go. What you drinking? I am drinking delicious Walmart brand water. Beautiful. It's purified. Diatramon is far superior. Hey, no arguments here. I freaking love it. Alright, so we have that. The next one, where did I put my tabs? There they go. Alright. So, another one coming off the Excel and the card game. This first appeared in the card game. There was a period in Hyper Coliseum where they decided to make a bunch of random armor Digimon, including Thunderburmon, who is really freaking cool looking. Also showed up in Savers as Bio Thunderburmon, but a really awesome Digimon that just doesn't get much love and should be. We'll see another one of these armor types in here. I was hoping to see Flawizardmon or Salamandermon. Is it Salamandermon or just Salamandermon? I don't know. I was hoping to see them in Nightmare Soldiers, but they didn't show up. I think the weird Hyper Coliseum armors are super underrated and super underused. So I would be very happy to see him show up here. Up next, we have everyone's classic favorite. We see a bunch of Digimon returning from the old Digital Monster series, such as Mojimon, Yukidarumon, and now I'm going to say Kakatramon is likely to show up too. Turning everyone to stone on cruise ships in a whole new era. So there he is. We have, we have Lalamon. So suffice to say that if we have Lalamon, that means we likely have Sunflowermon. I don't like going with the obvious choices for a lot of these, since these are like just, oh, these are the evolutions everyone expects. But there have been a few cases already where whole evolution lines were used that were generally used lines. And honestly, to fill this out without knowing who the new Digimon will be, I kind of need to use some of these lines. I hope Sunflowermon and Lalamon get replaced with something new again, but for now, that's what we have there. Sunflowermon. So that gives us 2 vaccines and 2 datas, I believe, and then the freaking viruses. This one threw me off because I'm like, who the crap would be a virus bird? And came up with 2 choices that I don't really have a lot of confidence in. Choice 1, Davidramon. He has wings. He flies. I don't know, man. I'd love to see him pop up again. He was in both the Digital Monster series at the DM20, and as well as on one of the the Pen 20s, the Dukemon, right? Yeah, he was on Dukemon. So I don't know. Stranger things have happened. Mojimon's in Nightmare Soldiers. Davidramon can be in Wind Guardians. All right, there he is. All right, Ponchomon would fit great here too. Listen, if I was willing to delve more into armors, I'd have a lot of good choices for these, to be honest with you. I tried to stick away from the traditional 0-2 armors for no actual reason. I have no justification for that decision. I just didn't use them. So there you go. We have already seen 1 0-2 armor make it in, being Submarimon. So it's not like they're off the table. I just, for whatever reason, didn't want to use them. So that's where we are. All right, and then the virus. Again, there's just nothing. So look who's back. It's Woodmon. Woodmon is definitely not making it in the new device, but I have to put something here, and so Woodmon goes here. Try that, please. Thank you. There you go. Woodmon, you're out of here. You're not making it in. I should probably just delete him off of that list. And then Hawkmon's going to evolve into Aquilamon. That is basically guaranteed. That's happening, and you can't tell me otherwise. Oh, that was not what that was supposed to do. Let's try that again, huh? Hawkmon, work with me. There we go. A little off-center, but whatever. All right, so there we go. So that's all the adults. And before Woodmon is Super Ultimate, yes, if only. Palmon, I don't think Palmon, just because Palmon is very heavily featured on both the DM20 and the Pen 20 and the Digivice Complete and the new Digivice colon and everything. So since Palmon's on everything, it gets to be on nothing on my list. You saw the perfect slots at Delamon. So there is at least one Digimon that will be a returning champion, not champion, because that's a stage. Returning guest from the original Pendulum series. Will that be Delamon? I don't know, but Delamon's not on my list. Spoilers. So who is on my list? Let me move this to the right a little bit there. There we go. So we have Diatramon. Who does Diatramon evolve into? It evolves into frickin' Yatagaramon. And I never really realized that there was a redesign of Yatagaramon, but this is what it looks like. Spot the difference? This one's got red toes. What a difference. Alright, and let's just stick with the original art. Doesn't matter. Alright, so we have Yatagaramon. Now, Yatagaramon was just used on the Digital Monster X, so I don't know if that hurts his chances or not. I mean, Ancient Sphinxmon was too. Ancient Sphinxmon's in, so who knows. But he's on this list because Falcomon, Diatramon, Yatagaramon. Can't have those two without Yatagaramon, right? Alright, so then we have someone who's never appeared in a VPET, who I think would be totally awesome to appear in. No, he's appeared in Excel. What am I talking about? Well, fine, he's never appeared in a 16x16. And that's Hippogriffamon. So I want to see him because look at him. Beautiful. A lot of these have, let's see, who here has never been in a VPET? Wow. I think all of these have. Except for the freaking hybrids, but whatever. Even this hybrid's been in a V-Pet. Wow. Bandai does not really use these guys outside of V-Pets, does it? Do they? Alright, so we have that. JJ Rambles, spoilers. That's later. We'll be getting to that one, don't you worry. We definitely need a Griffinmon. And since I don't think regular Griffinmon will reappear, Hippogriffimon is a fine substitute. So, let's move this over so I can see this better. There we go. Only you can see my setup right now. It's disgusting looking. Alright, so we have that, and now here's someone who has not actually appeared in a V-Pet. Parrotmon. He's appeared on the Digivices, but not in a V-Pet, and he's such a classic. He's the one who freaking blew up the whole bridge for that train station, and made all the kids go to camp for the summer. Living in the digital land, I don't know how the song goes. If everyone knows how the song goes, go ahead and sing it. So there we go, so we have Parrotmon. Darkmon and Ornusmon. So Darkmon I didn't put on here. I thought it was a good choice, but I already had other choices for the non-viruses, and Darkmon not being a virus, I'm like, probably not. Maybe though. I'd like to see Darkmon on here. If that could replace this, great. It's just we would need a new plant for this, and I don't know. There's a lot of things I'd prefer on there. Parrotmon, good choice. Yeah, I agree. Parrotmon would be great on here. We need to see that. Up next we have the stupid choice. The choice I'm not happy with, and the choice I hope gets to be replaced. We have Lilamon. Okay, woo, whatever, it's Lilamon. Cool, get replaced. Alright, after Lilamon we have what somebody already called out, a virus bird. One of the few virus birds out there. We have Karatenmon and Karatenmon, whatever that means, I don't know. It's like a freaking, what is that, a Tengu? Is that what those are? He's awesome. Has he ever been in like anything? I have no idea. I don't think anyone even knows who that guy is, but I freaking love him. He is such a cool bird. He has to be on this device. That's one I'm like really hoping to be on here, because it's just such a cool design. Alright. We have, after Karatenmon, a stupid choice again. Jureimon! No, because we don't have any more viruses. Okay, so cool. Also, just as a heads up, the virus data vaccine ratio is not necessarily even on these devices, but I am trying to mostly keep it even wherever I can, and there's not honestly any better choices than Jureimon anyway, because again, plants and birds, underrepresented. This is where they get their due. Alright, Aquilamon, everyone sing along. Aquilamon digivolves to the Digimon I didn't even put in this folder. Yes I did, where is it? There it is. Okay, cool. There's Sulfimon. Alright. Obvious choice. Will Aquilamon be getting a natural evolution, not a Jagras one, to match up with Tailmon? I don't know. Probably not. If it does, I guess Garudamon can make it in. We'll see. That's not even, but whatever. There we go. That's the perfects. Oh, and everyone's singing the Digirap in chat. Beautiful. I love when that happens. That wasn't even the song I was singing. Really did a great job. Alright, so Ultimates, the stars of the show. So we have, again, top one of two choices. It's either going to be, where the crap is he? There he is. Either going to be Valdermon, who has also appeared on the Digital Monster X, or it's going to be Ravemon. I don't know if you're supposed to say it Ravemon or Ravmon. I don't remember. I haven't watched Savers in a while. I need to watch it again. Love that show. But there you go. So this one's already appeared on a V-Pet very recently, but it's also featured in Digimon Adventure Colon. So that honestly, even despite my just affinity towards Valdermon over Ravmon generally, I kind of feel like that Valdermon's the one that makes it in, just because of, you know, cross promotion. So there we go. Now that doesn't mean that they, well, actually no, it does mean they can't both make it in, and I'll show you why here in a second. There's a very good reason why they can't both make it in, and why the ultimate column is my least favorite column on this device. So there we go. So we have Valdermon and Virus Busters. That's honestly a good point too, but Virus Busters also has a similar problem to Wind Guardians. That problem will be revealed right now. Alright, so there's 5 confirmed Digimon for this set of, well, there's more than 5. I'm talking about 5 of them right now. There's 5 confirmed Digimon for Wave 2, and those are the Ancient Digimon. All 5 remaining Ancient Digimon have to appear somewhere on these 3 remaining devices. So, with Wind Guardians being Skyborn Digimon as well as Plant Digimon, that gives us 2 Ancient Digimon that we have to include in here. So, first one is in here somewhere. There you are. Ancient Irismon. Boom. The Warrior of Wind. Gave the hybrid spirits of Kazemon and... Not Kazemon. Ferrymon. Kazemon's the English name? I don't know. I hate Frontier. Sue me. So we have that one. And then we also have Troyamon, which... Troyamon will throw you down here in the bottom area. Because I don't really... It wouldn't make as much sense there. There we go. So Ancient Troyamon, Ancient Irismon, we got both those guys. They have to be in here because one's wind, one's wood, and they are both Ancient Digimon. So there we go. They are absolutely in. And up next we have Crossmon, one of the classic bosses of the D3. The D3 was one of the stupidest toys ever made, the original Japanese version, because of how much it required you to buy to actually get everything out of it. But one thing I love about the D3 was the bosses. There were 9 bosses in the D3s, and they were all just like super cool, new, unique, ultimate level Digimon. Some that you may recognize elsewhere are Black War Greymon, High Andromon, freaking Deathmon that we saw just a minute ago, Devi Tamamon, and Crossmon was one of them. Very cool Digimon. I think a lot of people do associate it with Parrotmon because, I mean, look at it, alright? It's basically coat Parrotmon in gold, and there you go. So, congratulations, Crossmon. You make it in, and are a very, very not featured bird, so maybe you'll get your due. And that leads us to the next 2, because just like I said, there were 10 Ancient Digimon that have to fit across all these devices, 5 for the 3 we're talking about here. But there's also another set that is the Harmonious ones, the Holy Beasts, the Sovereigns, whatever you want to call them. All 4 of them have to make it in. And since Sutsemon and Zwanmamon, I don't know how to... Chinese is hard. Alright, listen to me. Chinese is actually hard. And I hate that they have Chinese language Digimon in Digimon, since it's mostly Japanese. Japanese is easy. It's all just the same syllables. You just have to know how to say them. Boom, easy. Chinese, nah. You could be given something and just be like, no clue. But Sutsemon is easy enough. Thank you, Tamers, for saying Sutsemon all the time, so I know how to say that. And then Jean? Whatever. It's a cool turtle with 2 big heads. Here he is. These 2 are definitely making it in, and I put them in this one because this one's a plant, this one's a bird. I'm genius, I know. So let's just go ahead and throw them in here. Well, actually, you're a virus, so you're gonna go down here. Boom. It's a nice thing. I love that I've positioned my mic in a way where I have to actually look over it and see my computer screen. And come on, work with me here. And you... Wow, this chart looks disgusting. Good thing I want to actually be using it for real. Alright, so there we go. So those guys are in here. What do we have? So yeah, Velnomon, yep. Love the Ancient Warriors for appearing. Yeah, I do. I don't like Frontier, but I do like the Ancient Warriors. I like the Warrior 10. It's a cool group. I love the Digimon in it. I think all of them have pretty... Well, except for me, this one. I don't like Ancient Irismon that much. But I don't like humanoid Digimon that much in general, so that's not really a slight on the Warrior 10. That's just me not liking humanoid Digimon. But the other ones, like, I freaking love them. They're great. I really do like that group. Cyber's probably unlikely. Let's Petaldragon. That would be cool, too. I'd like to see them there, but yeah, there's not a lot of room on this one. 2 Ancients, 2 Holy Beasts. That does not leave a lot of room. When will we be getting details on the Pendulum Z? October 5th. Thank you for answering that. Really liking this list. Also, the Cherrymon being to the 3 beasts makes sense. I agree. I mean, look, you just basically grow a turtle out of that tree. Bam, you have that. But I still hope that Juraimon, Woodmon, and Mushmon are just out. I don't want them to be reused. Although someone does. I guess Juraimon you can say. Because we do have to have 1 veteran from the Pendulum on here. At least if that pattern gets followed. And maybe I'm just seeing patterns where there's not one. Who knows? But we got 1 more slot here. And this is the very basic one. We've already seen it on the Nature Spirits Pendulum, and it will be on this one as well. It's Valkyrimon. There we go. Because that's just how Sylphimon evolves. And, well, in 02, that is. This is a 02 reference. There you go. So again, not touching Super Ultimates. No idea what those could be. We're going to leave them. Delamon could totally evolve in that big tree, too. Well, then maybe Delamon will be the special guest star. We'll see. Instead of Crossmon, I would have put up Sarasmon, since it's also a plant bird. I hate Sarasmon, though. That's why Sarasmon did not make it in. Originally, I did have Ornismon on this list before I remembered, oh right, I have to include all of the Holy Beasts somewhere. And since Ornismon's a virus bird, Sutseimon is a virus bird, there you go. It's sorry, Ornismon, no one remembers you. I'd like Sarasmon if they didn't decide to make it a sexy lady as well. I don't get Digimon sometimes. It's like huge, gigantic bird made of the earth, but it's controlled by a sexy lady. I don't know. It's weird. I know people like the Olympus 12, and that's fine. I don't have really strong opinions about the one way or the other. Other than that, they're mostly humanoid, and I don't tend to like humanoid Digimon, so naturally, not a group I super relate to. But so there we go. That's Wind Guardians. This is what I expect to see on Wind Guardians. A lot of stuff in the Excel, a lot of stuff that's already appeared somewhere else and that I hope gets replaced. I think that we're going to see, like we did for Deep Saber, see a good chunk of new Digimon here, which is great. We need more plants, we need more birds. Thank you for making the Pendulum Z series for at least that fact. So there we go. Let's move on over here. Boom. We're now on the, obviously I don't have it written anywhere, so it's indiscernible, but we're going to talk about Metal Empire now. And Metal Empire was a bit tricky, but so there's a lot of lines. I'm gonna be up front. There's a lot of straight lines, and that's kind of against the spirit of the pendulum. But there's not a lot of Metal Empire Digimon that haven't seen a lot of exposure recently. It's a very strangely small group, despite how many metallic Digimon you might think there are. There's not a lot that don't get used all the time. So I'm gonna go with straight lines that at least don't get used frequently. So we have that, and as such, we're starting off with the Excel again. Big surprise! Humilos is using the Excel as a basis for a lot of this, because he kind of loves the Excel. But we have Bombmon and we have Missamon as our babies. Look at them. Can you think of a better Metal Empire baby? Because I cannot. With Capramon and Choromon already in use, yeah, it would make sense not to use them again. I should hope not. We want to see all new V-Pet babies in here. We already got Bodamon twice, and that's because they never made a proper baby for Wanyamon, so hey, what can you do? But yeah, there we go. Bombmon, Missamon. We got them in here. Oh, Elebit, you just touched on something I haven't touched on yet, and I do need to touch on it, so thank you. Xtros Wars. They had a big announcement the other day where Xtros Wars Digimon, and yes, I am going to keep saying Xtros. Sorry, but this isn't an informational video. This is just a friendly chat, so I got to talk how I want to in this one. Xtros Wars is getting levels and attributes for all of its Digimon. Well, not all of it, maybe. Who knows? They're getting it for at least a number of Digimon that are already in the reference book. They're going to be assigned attributes. They're going to be assigned evolutionary stages. So there's not going to be any weird empty spaces there anymore. Now, I don't know how far they're going. We have seen Xtros Wars Digimon be assigned levels before, but generally speaking, they don't get assigned attributes as well. So in the Pendulum 20th, for example, we had Troopmon, we had Arresterdramon as a few that showed up, many others, not many, several others. Those two were assigned adult, but they weren't given an attribute because Xtros Wars didn't have attributes. It didn't have evolutionary stages, and I kind of hate it for that, but they're fixing their past mistakes, and I commend Bandai for that because there are some good Xtros Wars designs, and I think Ballistamon is a good choice for this one, as well as Atler Ballistamon. I think they would be great in here. I did not include them on my list because I kind of have been thinking about this for a while, and I ended up liking a lot of the choices I made. So, yeah. But I have two Digimon that I think are good replacements with Ballistamon and Atler Ballistamon, so we'll talk about those when we get to those. But yeah, I think that I do have one Xtros Wars Digimon that I did include on Virus Busters, but I did not include any on Metal Empire. But we have a good chance to see some, especially with them being further canonized. So we will see how that goes. My guess for Baby's Bombmon, Missamon, yep, same here. Gundramon, we'll see. Bring back Tinmon. Ooh, oh right, Tinmon. Isn't that from like Digimon World 3 or something? It's like a very kind of maybe not real Digimon, canonically speaking. I don't know. I think all Digimon are basically real, but there's some where it's like, yeah, that one might not be super real. Could they have Xtros Wars Digimon with changes to make? Absolutely. Imagine having an egg and it's bomb. Yeah, that happened to me once. So, fun little side story. I ordered the Ultimate Excel from a seller in Japan, and they had it all in box. They showed it off, and it's like, great, that's awesome. I'm excited. And I ordered it, and I received it, no problems, but I held off because I wasn't ready to run it just yet, so I held off for a little bit. Finally went to run it, started it up, and I'm like, hold on, that doesn't look right. And sure enough, I load the save, and the thing on the save was Missamon on the Ultimate Excel, and I was like, no, that can't be right. I reset it just to be safe, and I saw the same egg I've seen many times before on my Evil Excel, and sure enough, I realized that the device I got was not the device I was shown in the images. I received a Evil Excel, or the Excel Evil Genome, when I ordered the Ultimate Genome, and the faceplate from the Ultimate was used still, but the body, the back part, was replaced with the Evil. So that dude just straight up scammed me, and by the time I realized it, it was too late. So it sucked. I ended up selling it to Xanadu. If you haven't watched Xanadu's channel, check him out. He does Digimon vlogging, and so I sold it to him for an incredibly cheap price because I was like, this is scratched up to heck. It's not really worth as much as I would say a normal Evil Excel is. So sold it to him, shipped it off. He's been using it, so it's got a happy owner at least. And I have since bought my own Ultimate Excel, and I'm much happier with that. But yeah, that story sucked. So there we go. Moving on, back to the list. Sorry for that aside. And we have Random Center. Tinmite doesn't even have a bio. Yeah, perfect level Digimon for Digimon 1 and 2. He was on its card? Wow. Can't believe more people made more of these charts. Digimon fandom's not that big. And the Digimon VPET fandom is even more not that big. So, not a lot of people speculating, I guess. But yeah, I would absolutely encourage people to make these charts. If you're curious what I'm just using Google Drawings. It's got a lot of good snap features that make aligning things nice and simple overall, and it's pretty easy to just drag things around, make things how you want them to look once you get used to it. It's there's a few things that are a little hard to understand, but yeah, it's at least easier than me going in and coding something for this, which I did consider doing. I did consider, oh, maybe I should just code it into the website already, and it's like, no, don't do that. That'll take much longer. So, child levels. Oh, we got some guesses in. We got Solarmon, Jazamon, and Commandramon. I got one of those. So, not including Solarmon. I am not including any recolors whatsoever. By my definition, a recolor is a Digimon that uses the same artwork as another Digimon in the reference book. That means the same pose, as in you could tell they just traced it. That is what I consider a recolor. As such, that means something like Tsukaimon is a recolor of Patamon, while Red Vegemon, despite in Digimon World 1 originally being a recolor, its artwork, its original profile artwork, is distinct from Vegemon, to where you would not consider it to be the same Digimon anymore. That is my definition of recolor. Solarmon has not been given that treatment. Solarmon is just a palette swap of Hagurumon in every way, so I am not including Solarmon, even though Bandai loves it. I don't know why they love Solarmon so much, but they really love Solarmon. Chessmons, I did consider them. Did not make the list, though, because of just how wacky they are. It's like, do I include the white one, the black one? Do I include all their line? I got rid of Chessmons just because of how confusing they were. So, without further ado, I'm going to throw some people up here. Up first, we have, returning from the Wonder Swan, it is Monodramon, cute little purple dragon. And, he himself isn't super metallic. We all know what his normal line is, and that being the case, we know what was to come. So, there we go. Monodramon is a good vaccine to include on here. For our data, this one better make it in. This one better make it in, alright? This is my boy right here. This is Kamemon. Kamemon is an adorable little turtle who is also a computer mouse, and I love him in every single way. He's only appeared on the Digivice IC, which of course was based on Savers, where he appeared. I love Kamemon so much. Favorite animal. So I gotta include Kamemon on here. And I think he has a good chance. He didn't make it in Deep Savers, but he is metallic. He is not just a aquatic Digimon, he is a metallic Digimon as well. And as such, come on, work. Since he is metallic, he does have a good chance of appearing in Metal Empire. Boom, there we go. Samers, yes. Shut up, Wash. For our virus, the obvious choice, Commandramon. Really cool Digimon. Doesn't get used that much. I think he was Commandramon in Cyber Sleuth? I feel like he was, so I guess he gets used a reasonable amount. There were a lot of Digimon in Cyber Sleuth that I forget about being in Cyber Sleuth because I am not a big Digimon video games guy. So I tend to forget what's in and what's not. But there we go. Commandramon, awesome virus. Kind of looks like Agumon. And by kinda, I mean very looks like Agumon. But don't be confused. He's not one of the many, many Agumon that there are. We have, for our inclusion from 02's cast, we put Vmon. And Vmon is not himself very metallic. His evolutions aren't even all that metallic. But I had nowhere else to put him. So, like Wormmon, he just gets kind of thrown in wherever he doesn't fit the most. And since Patamon fits more with Virus Busters than Vmon does, Patamon got the Virus Busters. Vmon, you are subject to Metal Empire, so sorry, you're just kind of an afterthought on this list. Monodramon, why is your picture so big? Shrink it. I know this doesn't have to be perfect looking, but come on, at least be reasonable. So there we go. Those are Childs. Commandramon also matches with the shell. Oh my gosh, it does match the shell aesthetic. It totally does. Also, Flurp, what the heck? How are you watching this? Anyway. Let's see what we got here. We have adults, and we have... I'm going to put this guy out right up front because I think it's the stupidest choice to have on the list, but it makes sense later, I promise. And I have reasoning for this, but here he is, Tyrannomon. The classic Metal Empire Digimon, right? No, I'm including him because it's as basically a nod to the original Pendulum, where Greymon was in there because you had Greymon become Metal Greymon and War Greymon, who were pretty metallic. And also, I just don't think Tyrannomon has been used enough on the VPETs. We had Tyrannomon on the Digital Monster series, and we had freaking Tyrannomon X on the DMX, but like, I don't know. Actually, no, he gets used enough. Screw it, I just want him in there, alright? He was in the Progress, he was on the XL. Was he on the IC? Might have been the IC. He needs to be on everything, is my point. When I say not used enough, I mean that he has not been used on everything, and that is a requirement. He is the first Digimon. He is the iconic. Like, when you talk about Digimon to someone who doesn't know their stuff, they'll be like, yeah, Agumon. But if you talk about Digimon to someone who does know their stuff, who has been in VPETs forever, you're like, yeah, Tyrannomon. He's like the guy. He's just the mascot, all right? He's who I consider like the actual mascot. Screw Agumon. Agumon, you little yellow punk. You stole everything from Tyrannomon. So there we go. He's in here. So Tyrannomon made it. Good for you. We have Gawapamon, because I have Kamemon. Oh, get back in there. There we go. We have Gawapamon. Kamemon's in there, so obviously Gawapamon has to be in there too. Look at him. He's got a CD on his head. He shoots CDs at people. He's basically a DJ Kappa. DJ Kappa is a cool thing, and I want to feed him a cucumber. He's a wonderful little guy. Cucumbers should be definitely the replacement for meat on just him. Please, make that happen. We got Commandramon's basic normal evolution of... Where is he? Sealsdramon. Basically just a weird dragon marine. I don't know. I like him. I think he's neat. So, you're in. Coming back from the Excel. Sealsdramon made it. Again, obvious choices. There's gonna be a lot of like obvious choices now that you've seen like who the adults will be. It's like, oh yeah, so you're gonna use this for the perfect. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. Like I said, Metal Empire is a weird group where you think there's a lot, but there's not. Kamemon's line is new to me, so but I love these. But good. Well, I'm glad you're experiencing him for the first time because he's freaking beautiful. He's Tyrannomon still has a thumb. Yeah, no, he hasn't been butchered like poor Agumon has, not yet. Next up, okay, so here we go. I was talking about armors earlier. Here's another weird, obscure armor that no one ever talks about. Kenkimon. He's not one of the 02 armors. He is his own thing. And he's just cool. Look at him. He's got a little he's just several different types of trucks. He's a forklift. He's a backhoe. He's got some treads. I love this guy. Like, I really do. And I think he deserves to come back. So, congratulations, Kenkimon. You made the list of weird, obscure Digimon that I love. And along with him, we have another weird, obscure Digimon here. This one's not an armor, but it is like almost never used. We have Blimpmon, who's basically Gardramon if you inflated him a whole bunch. So yeah, that's Blimpmon. I kind of am less confident about these last two being in, but they are, I don't know, stranger things have happened, right? Like freaking Mojimon's and Nightmare Soldiers, so whatever, anything can happen. Kenkimon to Valvemon, that is a spoiler! And yes, that's obviously where I'm going to go from there. What if the Virus Busters is just 3 maintainers Digimon? So that's actually a really cute idea that I think would be really fun, especially since they Tamers was cool because it was the first one to have a balanced cast. You had a vaccine, a virus, and a data. And then the other guys kind of jumped around variously, but the main trio was nice and balanced. I really liked that. More should have done that. There should have been virus and adventure. Justice for Kunemon, please. Alright, so we have one more adult on here, and it should be the obvious choice. You notice I left that one spot open. It's Strike-Dramon. One of the strangest... I don't know. When you think Cyber-Dramon, you don't really think this guy. Like, he kind of looks like a bit of a stepping stone between Mono-Dramon and Cyber-Dramon, but there's just something about Strike-Dramon I just don't really care for that much. I'm not even gonna lie, but if I put Mono-Dramon in and I put Cyber-Dramon in, I gotta put him in. So there we go. Vmon! What does Vmon evolve into? X-Vmon. You know, obviously you could also say V-Dramon, but no, we're talking about 02. X-Vmon's basically confirmed, so that's who's going right here. Again, maybe not Metal Empire, but I find it more likely Metal Empire than the other two. There we go. X-Vmon. Moving on. Perfects. One Evo of Kenkimon called Constructimon. Just be the yellow. I was going to say that. The second I saw Constructimon, I'm like, this is going to be a Transformers thing, isn't it? And sure enough. Strike-Dramon is just... Oh my gosh, he is, isn't he? He's got the shoulder pad and everything. Throw a Buster Sword on there and we're good to go. Alright, so let's talk about our perfects. Perfects, we got a few choices for these. The first one I've written down here is this classic fellow that I don't know if anyone remembers him, but this is Locomon. Now you may remember Trailmon from the from Frontier, and Trailmon are stupid, so well, I didn't include any Trailmon on here. But Locomon, however, is awesome. He's most famous from a movie for Digimon Tamers. I haven't actually seen that movie. And it's on my list to watch. Like, I legitimately do want to watch it. I just haven't. I saw the other Tamers movie with Sishamon and all that, and Mephismon. But I haven't seen this one. Runaway Locomon, I believe it's called. Where do I want to put you? You will go next to Kenkimon on the list. Right down here. I don't remember what attribute you are. Metal Empire, I really had to stray from attribute balance. Which maybe I actually did get it balanced, but I didn't look. I did not look at attributes because I just could not afford to. So, apart from the children, which that balance has always been there, the rest of them will just kind of be all over the place. We got Locomon. We got... who's next in here? We got Locomon. Oh, of course, we have our... everyone's favorite Journey to the West reference, Shawujinmon, with his bulleted crescent. Fun fact, Shawujinmon is not the only Journey to the West reference of the same character. There is also... I freaking forget his name. I don't remember his name, but there was another one made. And I think he's the equivalent of Yamcha from Dragon Ball, if I remember correctly. I don't know. Never actually read Journey to the West. All I know is that Japan freaking loves that book, and they reference it all the time. So, there you go. Shawujinmon. Yeah, Gokumon's another one. Not to be confused with Gokumon, who is a different Digimon. Alright, so we have that going on. We have, after Shawujinmon, we have the next obvious one for Sealsdramon, which is Tankdramon, who is a pretty rad Digimon. I'm not going to lie. Just look at this. He's got, like, tank teeth and dinosaur teeth. You can't ask for much more than that. Absolute classic. Alright. Then we have Tyrannomon. Guess why I have Tyrannomon on here, everybody? Because we got Metal Tyrannomon. There he is. I miss the days of Dark Tyrannomon being like the guy you used for Metal Tyrannomon, but I feel like those days are over, and I did consider putting Dark Tyrannomon on here instead of regular Tyrannomon, but ultimately I thought it more likely they'd use Tyrannomon if they were to use either of them. So I don't even know if both of them being there is likely at all, but yeah, Metal Tyrannomon's a pretty good Metal Empire Digimon, so he's on the list. Shawujinmon. Is the other Shawujinmon the other reference that he's of? That's a recolor of him? I honestly didn't know that, because I know they had like the same freaking crescent and bullet gun thing, but I didn't know they were a recolor. I guess that would make sense. No Numemon. No Numemon. Pendulum wasn't big on Trashmons. The only real Digimon you consider a Trashmons would be like Geckomon and Gerbimon. Geckomon's like a trash. I wouldn't myself call Geckomon a proper Trashmon. Gerbimon basically is, I mean, he is trash. So, yeah. Metal Tyrannomon's a given the whole episode. Another thing, yeah, that's another reason for him, because it's a 2020 tie-in. And canonically sounds like a creaking ship. Alright, then we have, as someone else mentioned already, where is he? There he is. Valvemon. This guy, okay, so I love Kinkymon, and I think Blipmon often evolves into Valvemon, but I don't like Valvemon. I don't understand what he is. I got no idea what I'm looking at here, but here he is, because I don't have that many Metal Empires to choose from. I should mention there's actually 2 very good sets of Metal Empires I could have used for this as well, but they were also straight lines, so it didn't really matter. And most importantly, I'm talking about Zubamon and Ludomon with their lines. Those 2 were kind of really heavily featured in the Pendulum 20 and the Digital Monster version 20, so I don't see them continuing to feature them as hard as they did, and I don't see them taking up entire slots in Metal Empire. So, not saying it's not impossible, but I kind of hope it's not. I do like Ludomon, and I do want to see him in more stuff, but I just don't want to see him in another VPET this quickly. Alright, so we have Valvemon, and then returning from the Pendulum, this is the one I would say would be the most likely to return, and it's a bit of a two-way tie almost, but ultimately I landed on Cyberdramon. The other option for the Pendulum veteran would be Mugendramon, but Mugendramon's also like pretty heavily featured. He's in the DM20 as well. He's a very iconic metallic Digimon, like super iconic, and so it's like I could absolutely see him being in this, but I think Cyberdramon is slightly more likely just because he also brings a few other Digimon to the table, like Monodramon, who wouldn't really make sense otherwise. So there you go. You made it in. And XVmon, your normal evolution in 02 is Paildramon. There you go. You made it in. Good job, dude. You did it. I mean, he's kind of metallic, right? He's supposed to be a dragon bug, but he's got guns. Guns are metal. Or, I don't know. I want more new Legend Arms. Yes, again, I will say that there are a few of these that could just be, and by I say could be, I mean will be. There will be new Metal Empire Digimon, so anyone on this list could be out in favor of something completely new. Please don't let that be Kamemon. I want him in. I want him on a new VPET. He's so cute. Alright, Ultimates. So, we have freaking Locomon over there. Guess what comes after Locomon? That's right, Grand Locomon, who's basically, what if Wargreymon was a train? Look at him. He looks so stupid. But I kind of love him. I don't know. I'm just gonna love how much they love Wargreymon's design that they've turned him into a train. Alright. Going along with Kamemon, gotta have Jumbo Gamemon. Can anyone tell me why it's Jumbo Game and not Jumbo Kame? Or like why Gamera is Gamera and not Kamera? Because like G and K are basically like what, interchangeable in Japanese? I don't know actually know Japanese, so I'm not going to tell you too much here on that. But both Game and Kame, like that's a reference to turtles. Kame means turtle, like you know Kamehameha and Kame House from Dragon Ball. Like it means turtle, so why is it sometimes a G instead of a K? Anyone can tell me that, go for it. No idea. Either way, Jumbo Gamemon is a classic. Gotta have him in there. Darkdramon is also another end of a line Digimon here. He's the end of Commandermon's line, so we gotta have Darkdramon. And he did just appear in the Pen 20 alongside Bancho-Leomon, and you may be interested to know, yes, I am also including Bancho-Leomon in Virus Busters. We'll get to that in a minute. I could see Chaosmon reappearing. Again, not speculating too much on Super Ultimates. There might be some returning ones. I still feel like they're mostly new, but hey, I didn't have a lot of options for this, so Darkdramon's in here. J sounds with K are with the accent marks, but not sure historically why. Yeah, me neither. Has to do with letters, although I don't know Japanese, so I don't know. No, maybe wrong. Like, so I do definitely know that the Ka and Ga are distinct letters from each other. I just don't know why, or distinct kana, I guess it's not technically letters, whatever. I just don't know why they can both be used for the same thing. Because it's also ku and gu. That's another one that I've seen. So you have kuma, which is bear, but I forget where I've seen it, but guma can also be used for bear in certain circumstances. And I'm not sure why. I have no idea why. So I think it's a constellation that uses guma, like Ursa Guma. Not Ursa, obviously. What are the no, like Ursa Major, it said it's like Major Guma. I don't know, look it up. Look up constellations. I'm pretty sure that's one of the ones I'm thinking of. Maybe it's just like stylization. Yeah, maybe. Could be. I should actually ask someone who is native, like the proper reasoning for that. Moving on the list, so we're back to the guys who have to be here. We have to have Ancient Wisemon somewhere. Ancient Wisemon is weird because he's supposed to represent metallic Digimon and mutant Digimon, but like he himself isn't super metallic, and it's Sephirothmon's another one. It's like, how is that like supposed to represent Metal Empire? Metal Digimon just kind of got shanked when it came to their warrior, and it's like, oh, this guy could also be like Wisemon, who is a nightmare soldier and a wizard. It's like, why is Ancient Wisemon and Wisemon two completely different concepts? I don't know, but there you go, Ancient Wisemon. Wouldn't be the first time. I mean, you have like Marine Angemon and Angemon. Marine Angemon's not an angel, but you know, you're like Marine Devimon and Devimon. Just a weird thing they do. So let's put you down to size. There we go. Alright, so we got him, and we also have to have a Holy Beast, and this guy actually fits really well into Virus Busters and Metal Empire. Virus Busters because he's the Holy Dragon, and Metal Empire because he's got a bunch of chains. He can also fit in Wind Guardians, but Wind Guardians has too many Holy Beasts as it is, and so I'm just like, okay, whatever, you're in here. Baihumon would be one that I'd be more likely to consider as, you need to go up here. Baihumon I normally more consider alongside Metal Empire, but Baihumon's already been used, so make it in. So with Ga being Ka instead of Ga, reference to Gamera, the giant turtle. His name is supposed to be Gamera instead of Kamera because Kamera is basically where. Is that a fact? That's interesting. If that's so I guess that would make sense. That would make perfect sense if that's the case. Kamera instead of Gamera. That's hilarious. That could be a mystery solved. I guess it just sounded enough like Kame to be like, yeah, people will still know that we mean turtle, right? Yeah, sure. That works. I think they also have to complete the 5 Great Dragons. Yes, you are correct. And that kind of, did I already complete them by accident? No, I'm completing the 4 Great Dragons and Virus Busters. So that has also been considered. So Ancients have to be in, Holy Beasts have to be in, and yes, the Dragons have to be in. We already see Holy Dramon and Megidramon on the previous wave, Wave 1. And I am including Xinglongmon here. Did I say Zulongmon earlier? I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. And we're including him here because he's a dragon. He has to be in here. He has to be in here because he's a Holy Beast. Godramon's the last one. Godramon will be on the Virus Busters list. So, I guess you could say it's shooting everyone. Camera is attacking the city. Old mirrors made out of silver. Yeah, I think like the mirror aesthetic definitely lends itself to Metal Empire just fine. It's just still like him being Wisemon is my biggest hang up. It's like, why did you choose Wisemon, who's part of Nightmare Soldiers, instead of, I don't know, anything else? Ancient Cyberdramon, Ancient Metal maybe that's why the other names are too big. Although Ancient Megatheriumon is a pretty long name. Okay, so then we have this guy, of course. We have Justimon. Did you know there's like 9 Justimons these days? That's not true, there's like 4, but there's too many. They all have a different arm. Where'd that come from? When did that become a thing? I don't remember Justimon having different arms being a big thing, but I guess I didn't pay as much attention to whatever that happened in. So there you go. And we have now this next choice. I know this seems like straightforward. Pyledramon to Imperial Dramon, right? Oh, which one? Well, definitely not freaking Dragon Mode, because they hate Dragon Mode. Everyone loves Fighter Mode more over at Bandai, but guess what? My list, Dragon Mode's the one on the list. Even though I'm very confident it's going to be freaking Fighter Mode, Dragon Mode's the one that gets on the list, because yeah, that's what I want to do. Dragon. Ancient Wisemon because they're starting with the man in the mirrors. Sorry, I didn't catch that reference in time to sing it. TCG has Dragon Mode. You're right, it does have Dragon Mode in upcoming set. Finally, gosh. So maybe they didn't entirely forget that there's a step between there. Or maybe it's the alchemy thing. Maybe. I don't know. Wisemon's just weird overall. But there we go. There's my Metal Empire list. Is there any, apart from Ballistamon, who I think Ballistamon would be a good candidate to replace Tyrannomon and Metal Tyrannomon as options. You put Ballistamon and Atler Ballistamon in their place, and bam, you got something good. I don't know. Anyone have any other choices that they think would be more likely than these? Keeping in mind as well that a lot of these are just going to be replaced with new Digimon anyway, so it's not like the device is going to be all these guys. At least I hope not. If I could do this, well then why am I not being paid? I would love that. Dream job. Bandai, if you're listening, hire me. I promise I probably won't stop. I won't continue telling people how to hack your devices. So we'll maybe we'll see. Gundramon. If they include Gundramon, that would be freaking hilarious. One of the Three Musketeers, right? Yeah, that's a weird group. Because it's like, oh, BL Starmon, Avenged Kidmon, which I still, if you showed me Avenged Kidmon, I would never be able to recognize him. I know he exists. I can never remember his name. Or I remember his design. It's like, just, I don't know. And then Gundramon, who looks nothing like the other two, is also one of the Three Musketeers. Kokua de Ballista. Kokuamon, I would not feel likely to see since it was a child on the other pendulum. But Ballista, yeah, I still think that it's an option. No Mugendramon. Mugendramon, I bumped out in favor of Cyberdramon because I want to keep with the pattern that already exists, which is that there's one Pendulum Digimon on each of the other 3 Pendulum Z devices that we've seen. So I was like, well, do I think it'll be Mugendramon or do I think Cyberdramon will come back to kind of bring in his line with him? And I ultimately decided with Cyberdramon rather than Mugendramon. But I think that Mugendramon's a good option. Andramon and Hyandramon, I'm less likely on those. I don't know. No particular reason. I just don't see them as big. But I don't have a reason. So they could totally make it in. Like, they very well could be deciding to replace Andramon and Justamon, like I have on this list, with Andramon and Hyandramon. Or anything else, for that matter. Nanomon. So I want to talk about Nanomon, because I didn't really consider the beans when I did this list. I didn't really have them in my mind, because, I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't often associate the beans with Metal Empire, for some reason, even though they're metallic, except for Piccolomon, of course, but that's another thing. And we had Big Mamemon on the original pendulum, so seeing a Mamemon species on here, I'm not gonna, I think that's totally plausible. Which one? I don't know. Nanomon is Nanomon the least featured? Yes, Nanomon's definitely the least featured one, so I think that's an option. For sure. Kanji for turtle is read game. Sometimes the kanji for turtle is read game instead of kame. Apparently it's for pond turtles. That's super interesting. We need ancient Mabe. That would be great. Oh man. Alright, so Metal Empire. I think we are good at this list for now, so let's move on to the next one. I don't know why I hit that button. That's not the button that changes tabs. There we go. Alright, Virus Busters. Here we go. So this was pretty hard, honestly. I don't like my list for this one overall. So again, I tried to stay away from Digimon that had been recently featured. And like, so you had Guilmon, he's recently been featured, so I took his line out. Terriermon and Lotmon also were both recently featured, so I took them out. And like, I don't know, Virus Busters is mostly protagonists most of the time, right? There have been a few curveballs here and there, like friggin' Bushi Agumon, for example. Like, okay. And there's a few Cross Wars Digimon that I feel like could very well fit the bill. This could even end up being like Cross Wars the device, if things go crazy enough to do so. But that being said, I think this is the one where this is the most open to interpretation, and I'd love to hear what other people think about this. So to start off, I'll reveal my hand early by showing you the bebes. And the bebes are Pafumon and Kyaromon. Once again, I kind of like the Excel. Whoopsie! Don't be that big, please. Okay. No, chill out. What's happening here? Well, everything's ruined. Everything is ruined. What is going on here? What have I done? Did I just like zoom in a whole bunch? No, I'm not zoomed in. Fit. Oh, there we go. I did somehow accidentally zoom in. Okay, let's put that back together. That was weird. All right. No idea what that was about. Don't do that. No, stop that. Get off the freaking tool. Fit. Go back to arrow. Cool. That was weird. All right, back to these guys. Yes. So again, I love the Excel. So I often look at the Excel first for ideas like this, and I I do think that I want them to focus on Digimon who haven't been in V-Pets before, but Bandai is also focusing a lot on Digimon who just haven't had 16 by 16 sprites before. And so a lot of the Digimon I am choosing, even if I'm choosing ones that have appeared on previous virtual pets, I am generally trying to stick with ones that haven't appeared on a small screen instead of that has appeared on large ones. So, so we have those guys. So obviously, if I'm including them, guess who my freaking first child is? Boom, Kudamon, but the correct Kudamon. Do I think they'll actually use cute little Kudamon at the scroll? I highly doubt it. I really think they're going to be doing the anime version. And why do I think that? Because Kudamon already has a cute little 16 by 16 sprite on the Saber on the IC and the Digi window. So the rest of his line does not. So that'll feed into what I was saying there. But the Kudamon on the IC does not have a scroll. Maybe they'll make a new one. We'll see. But Kudamon scroll, bring it back. Who do I got next? I got freaking... Alright, so this one is a choice I feel like everyone wants in, but just hasn't made it into a V-Pet for some strange reason. Renamon. So we have Renamon X, of course, but Renamon otherwise is the only Digimon from Tamers to not make it into a V-Pet, like ever. Guilmon, Lopmon, Terriermon, Monodramon hasn't. But does Monodramon count? Because Monodramon wasn't really featured in Tamers at all. He appeared for a brief second, but Cyberdramon, who was featured more, did appear. So as far as the base partners go, yeah, Renamon just never shows up anywhere. It has to be an X form for it to finally happen, and that just won't do. So let's bring back Renamon. And who about for the other one? So we have a data and we have a vaccine already, but this is Virus Busters, so we don't necessarily have to include a virus because, well, they didn't on the original. So we're not including a virus. We're including Leomon. Cute little lion thing. Leomon, of course, appeared on the original Virus Busters, is often seen as a bit of a, very protagonist Digimon, so we're going to have Leomon in here as a reference to Leomon. And who do we have for our 02 cast? Obviously, Patamon, basically confirmed. Will it be in Virus Busters, though? I can't say that's confirmed, but Patamon will at least show up on one of the 3 devices. Guilmon would work for better. Would work for Virus, yes, absolutely. Guilmon would work. The only reason, again, I didn't include Guilmon in his line is because he was on the Pen 20, and I wanted to stay away from Digimon that were featured on that. The only exception I obviously made was Lalamon because I couldn't think of anything else. I just really couldn't. So hopefully Lalamon doesn't actually appear. We'll see. Adults. So let's see what we got here. So we have Kudamon not there already, which means, of course, Repamon. Repamon actually surprisingly did appear in Virus Busters on the Pen 20, but just by itself. It's a very random choice, but hey, whatever. So I do think it's going to return, just because the rest of its line I'm going to say is also going to appear. But yeah, Repamon already did appear, but likely would again if Kudamon gets in. If Kudamon doesn't get in, then I'm going to say no Repamon. Repamon wouldn't make it in without Kudamon, because it already was featured previously. All right, so we got Repamon. We got, I mean, if we have friggin' Renamon, that means we got Cubimon, right? Now I do want to say though, real quick, I don't like putting Renamon as much in Virus Busters because Renamon to me will always be Nightmare Soldiers. It's a spooky Digimon. It's got like mysticism about it. Generally, that kind of thing is meant for Virus or Nightmare Soldiers because it's it's a Kitsune, right? It's one of the yokai. It would make more sense to make it a Virus Busters, but it would make more sense to make a Nightmare Soldiers, but it didn't make it into Nightmare Soldiers, so we're going with freaking this one instead. We're going with Virus Busters for it. Alright, we have this one. We'll see. I know how much they like their Greymons, and I think the Virus Busters need to have Greymons, so we got Geo Greymon. Regular Greymon's already been used. We can't have regular Greymon again, so we got Geo Greymon instead. This does mean, of course, like, hey, maybe Saber Zagamon will make it in, but I doubt it entirely because Saber Zagamon's sprite on the IC is identical to regular Agumon, so I see that less likely. But I do feel like Geo Greymon still has a good chance to make it in. That puts us at, so we got going a little bit back. We try to include some Digimon from the original devices. In this case, we have Centalmon. Not a frequently used Digimon, but a good one regardless. and a good throwback to the original DM20 where he first showed up, or the original Digital Monster where he first showed up. All right, so we have him. We've got this one. I'm not so sure about, but I like it. I kind of want it to be here. So we have Sushiman. Sushiman has been featured in a VPET before. It was featured on the Digimon Pendulum Progress, and its X-Antibody version was featured on the DMX. But I kind of feel like it can make a comeback as its normal version here, and I don't really have a lot of good reasoning for it. But I just kind of feel like, yeah, I like that choice. I don't know, something about it just feels right. Could be swapped with Sagittariumon. Could be. Again, I don't know how far they want to go into armors for their pool of information. Yeah, I need to raise my seat a little bit. I'm just sinking. There we go. It's like I always try to tell myself not to lounge when I do this, but I always end up lounging. So, but yeah, Sagittariumon's a good option on there. Have you tried Victory Greymon? So we're gonna run into some trouble with the ultimates, and we'll get into that in a minute. But we'll see there. Sagittarium want to make it good perfect. I know a lot of times people talk about using perfects using armors as perfects, but in practice, I don't really see that happen. Or at least maybe not in the stuff I'm looking at. Has that happened? Has there been an armor Digimon that has been used as a perfect? Because I know, like, you had Dramojimon, right, who evolved a Digmon in Sabers, but that's also could be seen as a slide evolution, I guess, according to, I don't know, whatever. It's alright, so we have Susamon on there, and up next after that, I'm putting in, obviously if I'm putting in Leolmon, I'm going to put in, where is he? Where's my boy? There he is. Liamon, or however the heck I'm supposed to pronounce that. His whole line is weird because we have Leomon, Liamon, and Loderleomon, but Loderleomon's spelt differently from Leomon, so it's more like Liomon. I don't know. Either way, he's there. There he is. Big old paw. Which I don't think is the same case as Cyclomon. So Cyclomon, in his original artwork, he has like one arm way in the foreground, and apparently that was intentional to be like, he's got a giant arm. And I didn't realize that until I first saw him in like Cyber Sleuth or something years later. I'm like, oh, his arm is just huge? Okay, cool. I always thought that was just perspective. So is Liamon's paw just huge, or is it just perspective? You decide. Kabukimon has been perfect before. Really? That's weird. I gotta look into that more later. Yeah, Magnamon and Rapidmon, they get shown up as freaking ultimates all the time because, I don't know, there's whatever. I guess they're Miracle Digimon, whatever. We got Patamon. That means we're getting the 0-2 evolution, which was Angemon. No big surprise there. We already know Shakaumon's in, so that means we know that Angemon's in. There we go. And that leads us to the perfects. Why not Leomon? No other reason than I wanted to do Liamon instead. I'm including Leomon's whole evolution line from the Excel, so that's my entire reasoning there. Alright, so perfects. Ponchomon has been perfect too, huh? Weird. Yeah, I definitely gotta look into that. Isn't there a new ultimate level Leomon coming in Rearise? Yeah, but you'd have to expect me to actually like recognize Rearise as anything I would care about. Sorry for people that like Rearise. I don't get it. I just don't. I don't get video games for Digimon in general, so nothing against anyone. They're just not a thing I really flock to. Alright, so Repamon, what do you evolve into? You evolve into Tillenmon. As usual. There we go. Some pretty good option for this, I would say. Not just because it's evolves from Kudamon or Repamon, but I just think it's another underused Digimon in general. Good one it would be. The Gashapon Edamon figure has a giant arm because... That's beautiful. Wizardmon has evolved into Ponchomon before. Where did... Oh, that's weird. I gotta look into that one. I mean, Digimon Evolutions is just... This is the Wild West, right? Things could just evolve all over the place. There's no real rules. I like to believe that there are sometimes, but not often. Alright, so we got Geo Greymon. We are including Bandai's favorite boy. There's Rise Greymon. He has been featured too much. And that's why I think he's a shoe-in, basically. He was in Virus Busters on the Pen 20. I could totally see him showing up again, despite the fact that he was already there. And plus, again, I just feel like there have to be some Greymons. Since I'm not including Metal Greymon, he's in the Wave 1. I feel like there has to be a Greymon here. That's it. That's my entire reasoning. To be fair, it is really cool. I mean, yeah, Rise Greymon's great. I have nothing against him. I just find that Bandai loves him more than Metal Greymon in some cases for some strange reason. I think they are right to do so. Cubimon, you evolve into a thing that's somewhere in this folder. There you are. Taomon. Boom. There you go. I love Taomon as evolution for Cubimon because they just they went weird with it. They really did. It could have easily just been like bigger Cubimon, but no, they were like, no, make it a whole like priestess vibe. Make it like a Shinto box dude. I love it. And then my returning champion from the Pendulum. I have to have at least one. I have to have one. There can be one returning Digimon from the Pendulum. Woodmon and Mushmon don't count because they're getting replaced. And there were some good options, but I went with the weirdest one, Asuramon. You are back, baby. You're gonna come back. I promise. This will be it. Asuramon's gonna be here for no real reason at all, other than he's the one I want. Rise Monochromon when. I love that. Asuramon is the one I hope returns too. Yeah, I like him. He's a really cool design overall. I like him a lot. He's first appeared on the freaking Wonder Swan way back when. So he's technically been in that VPET too. With Musyamon. He evolved from Musyamon in that. And alright, so then we have after you. So here's the thing. I said I was only going to be including one Cross Wars Digimon because when I first thought about this list, that announcement had not been made. And I didn't really... I did think about it. I did think about, well, could I change this to this? And I'm like, no, I like what I have. I like what I have over the new options from Cross Wars. If there were going to be Cross Wars Digimon that make it in, I think Ballistamon or the 2010 versions of Greymon and Metal Greymon and Zeke Greymon would be the more likely ones. But so you notice I have Shishamon over there, right? Shishamon X on the Digital Monster X evolves into Omega Shoutmon X. And I was like, you know what? Let's keep that theme going on. Shishamon, Omega Shoutmon. We're including Omega Shoutmon right here. Let that be known that I've done something for Cross Wars for once in my life, despite my hatred of it and Shoutmon. Sorry, Shoutmon fans, I'm just not one. Alright, so there we go. Omega Shoutmon, because I think that's a really weird, cool evolution, and I want it to happen again. Shishamon to Omega Shoutmon. Alright. Then we have, we got our lion already. So we got our lion path happening, so we gotta have Loader Leomon. Spelled with an I, not with an E, for some reason. There he is. Loader Leomon. Because you gotta have Leomons. Cross Warsmon, and you pick the worst. I'm not denying it. Why does my music keep cutting out? Pretzel, what are you doing? Like, do you not like that I don't have you open? Maybe if I leave it actually open in its own window, it'll be more friendly, because it's just in a background tab right now. There we go. Let's see if that stops happening now. I don't know if that was bothering anyone else, but it was bothering me. So, then we have this slot right here. Look, it's Angemon. He shinkas with Ankylomon, and they turn into a weird clay doll. Honestly, one of the best evolutions in the world. I'm not even joking. I think it's hilarious, and I love it. Especially because a lot of people hate it. A lot of people hate this because they're like, that looks too weird. But it's like, it's great. I love that it looks weird. I love how strange it is. Shakamon is beautiful. Why did you take Vikemon away, Bandai? You could have made it more sense to be in Deep Sabers with Armadimon. You just turned into a Deep Saber, but no. You're like, Vikemon. Weirdos. Now, you'll notice, unlike the other two, I have an extra slot down here, and I have an extra slot down here for a good reason. And that is because I think that Angemon will evolve naturally as well into Holy Angemon. Reason being, it's what they did for Tailmon. On the Nature Spirits Pen Z, they have included both Sylphimon and Anjewamon. So I think they're going to do the same thing with Patamon, since Patamon had an existing evolution before 02 in the anime that they wanted to reference. So there you go. Holy Angemon's making it in. Now, I do just see someone here who said that in before... Where'd it go? In before Holy Angemon is the Pen OG reference. So, since he's outside of the main roster, so everything starting at Patamon and below, that's like kind of its, the connection Digimon. So, the Digimon in the connection area don't get considered for the Pen reference. Otherwise, you know, we had Metal Greymon and Greymon who were in the Pendulum, would have been it every time. So, I'm not, the same thing with Anjewamon and Tailmon. So, yeah, I'm not considering them as part of the rest of it, so I don't think that they would be the actual Pendulum reference. I think I like Nature Spirits. Firespusters will have Magnet Angemon and Shakamon. Yeah, it definitely will. Glad Vikemon is gone, because they would have used... You know, Ray, you're probably right. The actual Japanese Bandai sprite for Vikemon is pretty lame. It's not a cute Pomeranian. Shakamon's amazing. It's credit Sylphamon and Shakamon didn't get Megas in CR2. I know, right? They even made them. Like, the Digivice toys had them in there. They had Vikemon and they had Valkyriemon in those toys. And then you had Wormmon that had Dino Beamon as his evolution on those too. But, like, they just didn't include them in the show. And it's like, I can kind of get Adventure because Adventure's final forms are kind of, like, more ambiguous and kind of happening at the same time. And that means they would have had to done Marine Angemon for Nomamon, and, you know, I have no problems with that. Who am I kidding? They would have chosen Plesiommon because they're a bunch of dorks. But yeah, it's strange that they just generally don't want the other guys to get evolutions. But then we have 2020 where it's like, no, everyone gets evolutions within the first 20 episodes, and you're like, you have to be kidding me with this. Oh, like the other fusion spirits. Yeah, like the other fusion spirits too. Tamers did a good job of getting everyone up. Savers did a good job of getting everyone up. Savers, everyone reached it. Even freaking the side characters, a few of them got all the way up. Like, we didn't hit Jumbo Gamemon, unfortunately, but considering how little Kamemon and the Old Man were used, it's like, no, I get it. But as far as, like, the primary cast, bam, all of them evolve. No problem. It's an injustice. Freaking, you gotta have your guy with the Greymon, and you gotta have your kid with the angsty attitude. Those are the ones that always have to reach it, and otherwise no one else necessarily needs to. So moving on to the ultimate column, we are going to scroll this over so I can actually read the ultimate column. Boom, there we go. So we have Kudamon's ultimate form of Slepmon, appeared on the Digital Monster X as the Slepmon X version. Appeared twice actually, so. And he's a Royal Knight. Everyone likes freaking Royal Knights, so good looking Virus Buster. It's a good option to make it in there, I'd say. So, boom, there we go. Slepmon. We have another obvious choice based on what else I've included here. Again, a lot of lines. This is my least favorite list I've made out for these. Mostly. There's a few that I'm like, yeah, I like that, but overall, whatever. Sakuya-mon, there she is, or he, or it, whatever. Digimon don't have proper genders. And they don't have sex. That's what it says. They don't do that. It's on the website. Look it up. Folder Continent Report. Going right down. We have so we have to include Ancient Digimon again. So we have to include where's that guy? Where's the really weird looking guy who looks like basically a chicken? All right, Ancient Greymon, you're in. Congratulations. It's part of the reason why I chose to include Geo Greymon and Rise Greymon, because if we're going to have Ancient Greymon, we got to have him. Ancient Greymon mostly fits in Virus Busters, I feel, because of the tendency to include Garurumon and Greymon's evolutions as like the primary protags, are the ones everyone thinks of. So there you go. I got Ancient Greymon in there. That does mean, of course, yes, I am also including Ancient Garurumon is in as well. There they are. Got to include them. So with that, that's the end of the Ancients. That's all the Ancient Digimon we need to include. So that's awesome. That means we have one more group that needs to be rounded out. That is the dragons. I already mentioned him earlier, but we have Gadramon. And we'll just go ahead and put him right here. Gadramon has to be included. He is a confirmed Digimon to be on these devices. And I'm happy about that. Gadramon's cool. I personally like him a lot as an evolution for Holy Angemon. And with him, Holy Angemon being here too, hey look, works out. Similar to how it worked out with Holy Dramon on the Nature Spirits device, which will probably be able to evolve Manduomon since it's also on that device, I would assume. There you go. Holy Dramon, you're here. You were a shoe-in. I'm sorry, Gadramon, you're here. You were a shoe-in. Congratulations on making it in. You're finally here. You're finally on a VPET. I do not believe he's ever been on a VPET before. There we go. And we're going to now throw in the end of the Leomon line with Bancho Leomon. Absolutely everyone's favorite JoJo before, I don't know. If when it came out, I wonder if people were like, oh my gosh, JoJo. Because JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has been popular since, like, ever. Freaking the Castlevania dudes, they loved them. I know they included references all over Symphony of the Night. But yeah, I'm not big into JoJo, so I look at him, I'm like, oh cool, he's like the street punk. That's why I love Saber so much, because I grew up with Yu Yu Hakusho. Or grew up with, I was in high school, whatever. That counts as growing up, right? I love Yu Yu Hakusho, and I love the street punk Japanese aesthetic, the Japanese street punk aesthetic. It's like one of my favorite things. So having Masaru be a street punk was a big draw for me, and having Bancho Leomon be a big part of Sabers, it's like, I love it. I love it so much. Okay, so we have that in there, so that means we have Anjumon, or sorry, Shakalmon, who would need to evolve into something dumb. It's not dumb. I actually really like Slash Angemon. It's just I'm still bitter. Where is he? Where did I put Slash Angemon? There he is. Slash Angemon, we already know he's confirmed to be coming from Shakalmon on the Deep Sabers device. I doubt they would swap it around to be something else. I don't know. They might. Who knows? But there we go. Slash Angemon, which that makes sense as to why they'd include him, because it's like, oh, it's an angel. We want to have Patamon become an angel. There you go. No Digimon here. No, there will be new Digimon. Absolutely. Some of these will be replaced with something completely new. Although, you know, you make a good point. I said that for Metal Empire. I said that for Wind Guardians. And I did think that for Virus Busters until you just made me question myself. Because Virus Busters is traditionally just not new Digimon. The original Virus Busters did not include new Digimon. Include Digimon that had already been used and were mostly protagonists. So, would Virus Busters do the same here? I don't know, hard to say. I'd like to believe they will include new Digimon. But because I want to just fill out this list entirely as best I can, I'm not leaving any spot blank. And I will assume that many Digimon from this will be replaced with completely new things. No gender, but Anjumon is still a hint to female. I don't know what it is. Yeah, there's definitely, like, you look at them anatomically wise, some of the Digimon definitely in one way or the other. You got Digimon like Betsumon, and you got Digimon like Anjumon. And you're like, I would definitely refer to them a certain way. But canonically speaking, and this will vary, by the way, this varies from canon to canon, but in the core canon of Digimon, Digimon do not have genders. But in certain video games and certain anime series, they can change that. They can decide, yeah, Digimon totally have genders and refer to them however they want. It just depends on what that specific medium wants to do. But in the core canon, all Digimon do not have genders. So that's... I think I went over that in my other Pendulum series, because they made it very clear, too. That's the first time I feel they addressed it, like, on an official Bandai site about the core VPET part of Digimon. So, that was cool. I don't know if you needed to know that or not, but there you go. And then we are also going to have Seraphimon, because, whatever, we're going to have Seraphimon in here. Fine. Where is he? Stupid freaking... Just... Ugh. There. Seraphimon. Size them down, and that's it. We have... Oh, size down a little bit more. That's it. We have our charts, so I'll go through them a little bit here. The trailer's already out. What trailer's already out? Do you think Quest Mode will be like the DMX? Yes! The Quest Mode will be basically identical to the Digital Monster X. I actually have on the website at digitamahatchery.com, I have a known features section for the Pendulum Z, and the Pendulum Z is basically the Digital Monster X. It's basically the exact same thing, but in a different shell, with a few different features. So joggers will be added back in, but it's based, the mechanics are all based on the Digital Monster X. So Quest Mode does return. We know leveling up returns. We know that there will be items, a bunch of stuff that already exists in the Digital Monster X will return for the Pendulum Z. So definitely check out that known features list, and you can see a lot of what we do and do not know about the Pendulum Z already. More information to come on October 5th, by the way, which is great. Oh yeah, the new episode's out in Japan already. So you're talking about that trailer. Yeah, that'll be coming out in a couple hours for us on Crunchyroll, Verve, or whatever you have, or whatever it might be in the other areas. Will this come to the States? This will probably not. It's hard to say with these things, right? Like, we did get the Digital Monster version 20th. I didn't think that would happen, but it did, and I was very pleasantly surprised. The Digital Monster X will be releasing in English next year. We are still waiting on more details for that, but reliable sources have told us that is the case, and I am siding with those reliable sources. You may also choose to remain skeptical, because there has been no official announcement yet, and if you want to be skeptical, go for it. I would agree to do so too. I was skeptical when the Digital Monster 20th was being announced, but we're seeing the same pattern that was had with the Digital Monster 20th for this Digital Monster X release. So yes, we are likely seeing an English release for that. But it's already mostly in English. But as for this one, hard to say. This did not even go up on Premium Bandai US, which was very weird and very concerning to me, because both Digivices, the Digivice Colon and the Digivice version complete, both of those went up for sale on Premium Bandai US. It's not being released in stores in the US, but Premium Bandai was using their own importing service to allow people to buy those Digivices. But this one didn't. You had to go through a proxy, otherwise you wouldn't be able to get it. Which is really weird, because the Pendulum and the whatchamacallit? Well, the Pendulum actually partnered, right, with From Japan and a few other places to sell it, and then Premium Bandai US started selling the Digital Monster X. So I don't know why the Pendulum Z hasn't made it over to there, or if it will, or if they have other plans, and I'd like to be hopeful and say maybe someday it will, but it's hard for me to be hopeful when they skipped the Pendulum version 20th and went straight to the Digital Monster X for the English release. So I feel like that maybe, yeah, Bandai thinks only bricks are needed in the States, and there's a good reason for that. They already have the manufacturing mold. It's not like they're taking the same one Japan's using. For what reason that is, I don't know. I don't know why we're not just using the same manufacturing as the Japanese versions, but we're not. The American versions, or the English versions, I should say, since they're released in territories other than the United States as well, they're using different molds, basically, for different shells, which is weird as heck. So I feel like that they already had that shell. They're like, oh, well, we could just reuse this shell for the Digital Monster X and not have to make a new Pendulum shell. It's like, okay, why don't you just use the Pendulum shell that already exists in Japan, but whatever. That's just conjecture. That's all I know. But yeah, I'm going to play this device more than my PS5 and Xbox. Same here. I'm not getting a PlayStation 5 right away. I'm not planning on getting a Series X Xbox at all, because I have a gaming PC, so everything that would be coming out in there I can already play. Which I love that model of Microsoft. Microsoft's very good at making things available, and I love that about them, but it also makes me not buy their consoles, so... But PlayStation 5 I'll get next year sometime. I've still got plenty of games I need to beat right now on systems I currently own. I'm playing through Ghost of Tsushima right now. I enjoy it a lot. I don't like it as much as some of the other big story open world games that have been on the PS5, or PS4, but I still like it a lot. Do you think that since they're planning on doing a bulk premium band, I release Penzi, maybe the DMX Game 20 DMZ? DMZ is very unlikely. I'll say that right now. I would never expect them to go that crazy. Do I expect a Break premium Bandai release? I hope for one. I'm not going to say I expect one, but I hope for one. I hope that Premium Bandai will do a sale on this, which that could cause some chaos, right? Because then people will be like, the people who have already missed out on the Pendulum Z will start going crazy for that outside of Premium Bandai accepted areas. So Premium Bandai sells to... Did it come up in Malaysia? Because Premium Bandai sells to Malaysia. Did the Pendulum Z... Anyone from Malaysia watching right now? Did the Pendulum Z go up on Premium Bandai Malaysia? I don't remember for sure. I feel like it may have, but it didn't come up on the US version at least. And then, obviously, I don't think there's any Premium Bandai in Europe, so anyone who wants to buy in Europe would have to use some kind of proxy. I assume there's proxies to Europe from the US, right? Like, you can buy something in Europe and have it sent over there to Europe, or buy something from the US and have it sent to Europe. I don't know. Never used a proxy for anything but buying from Japan, so... Everyone's scrambling to pre-order PS5 and Xbox. I'm waiting for the Digimon X pre-orders. Yeah, there you go. Irrelevant question. Have you ever beaten Digimon World? I have never beaten, like, anything in Digimon. I don't think I've won one battle in Digimon World 1. I don't care for the Digimon video games. I feel dirty saying that, especially Digimon World 1, because I love the aesthetic and some of the mechanics of Digimon World 1. I love the way they work. I love that it's very V-Pet driven. But I just don't enjoy playing it very much. And I find that to be a shame. I played Next Order a fair amount, and I got bored of that too. RPGs in general I don't enjoy. Even, like, unique ones I have a hard time getting into. And that's nothing to say that I think they're bad. It's just not my thing anymore. Used to be really my thing. If I had a PlayStation growing up, I could tell you right now I probably would have been all over the Digimon World games. But I didn't. I was a Nintendo fanboy, so I had a 64, I had GameCube. I didn't get Digimon games. So I was super into Digimon, but that was it. How do I feel about Cyber Sleuth? Not a fan. Not a fan of Cyber Sleuth. I say that, But if you were to look at my PlayStation logs, I got the little end of the year thing one time, and it's like, here's how much you spent playing these games. And between my Vita and my PS4, I played Cyber Sleuth for 80 hours. And I will say that part of that was my wife. Like, we played the same file. So at first she was the one mostly playing it, and then I switched over. So I probably played more than she did. But I played Cyber Sleuth mostly to do evolutions, and that was basically it. I'm like, oh, I just want to like evolve into a bunch of different stuff. So I'd like go and grind, and grinding that game is so easy to do. So it's very like quick to jump up in evolutions and just get the Digimon you want. But like that's all I wanted to do was just simulate evolutions. As far as the actual gameplay and story, it's like I did not care for it, and it's again, I don't want to like act like that's a fact that it's not a good game, because it's not. It's obviously people love it. It's like, so it's obviously got something going for it. It's just I don't see what that something is for me. So I played Hacker's Memory, I should say. I did not play Cyber Sleuth. I feel like they're the same. The gameplay is exactly the same, and that's what I cared about. I didn't care about the story. I wouldn't have cared about the story if I played Cyber Sleuth. I just don't generally care about most stories in games. You have to be a very special story for me to actually want to play for the story. But I do like the evolution. I like how Cyber Sleuth went crazy with it. I want to say something good about it, and I will say that evolution of Cyber Sleuth, it was a very interesting, unique mechanic that they used to make the evolutions occur, and more importantly, evolutions could go from one thing to something completely different. You had many options for every Digimon. I loved that. I loved how crazy they went with it. That's why I bought it, because I saw them doing that. I was so used to seeing Digimon games have very narrow evolution lines, and to see Cyber Sleuth go nuts with it, it was cool. Obviously, you know, back in the day, evolution lines I feel like went a little crazier, especially with Digimon World, but in recent years that wasn't the case. So that's also why I picked up Next Order, because I also wanted to do it for the evolutions. Digimon World 1's greater than Pokemon. Nice. You just doesn't play World, I sure don't. Deep aspects, very punishing game. It's got Numemon. It eats its poop right away. Well, that's convenient. At least that makes cleanup easy. Got a Monzemon, trying to get Cyber Sleuth. Mini stories are kind of boring. Well, listen, I'll tell you, the side quests were my least favorite thing, mostly because, and I use this example a lot, but it really upset me, because there's one side quest where you gotta return a book to this girl, and everyone always says, right when I say that, like, oh, well, if you played Cyber Sleuth, you know who that girl was. I don't care. Knowing that girl or not does not change the fact that that side quest did not include any Digimon whatsoever. So, yeah. In the game about Digimon, I generally want everything I do to be about Digimon, but hey, I get it. Again, I'm not big into story for games. If you like story, there's obviously something else there. And it is called Digimon Story, so kind of a red flag there for me anyway. Maybe it's not the type of game I should be playing. PS4 is basically a Digimon and Bloodborne machine. Oh man. I do have that. I didn't get far in Bloodborne either. I wanted to, I just couldn't. But I did play, like, PS4 I love. I played the crap out of God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man. I'm currently going through Tsushima. Love them. Love these games. They're great. That's my type of game. I like games where you're running around, getting in real-time combat, and like fluid real-time combat too. Like Bloodborne type combat is not super my thing. Like I want it to be. I watch other people play it and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to be playing that game. But then I play it and I'm just like, I just can't wrap my head around this properly. Like I just do not have the right mindset to play this. And like, yeah, like I don't know. I did Dark Souls for so long before I finally like, no, it's just not. Like it's not even that it's hard. Like obviously it's a hard game. It absolutely is a hard game. But it's like that wasn't the reason I quit. If it was just hard, I would. Like, I don't know, I will sit there and at a brick wall and throw a ball at it until it gets through there if I'm having fun doing it. And I'll die over and over again in the process. And I've died many times in many video games, dozens of times, just to do one thing. But if I'm not enjoying that process, when I wasn't, that's the thing, I wasn't enjoying the process of it, so I kind of backed away from it. Heard that Survival will have an intriguing story. The cool thing about Survive is that the story will change your evolutions. Was one interesting thing. Again, not into story, but I am into the battle system. I like the tactics types of battle systems out there, at least as an idea. I generally put them down after a while. I'm still 3/4 of the way through Fire Emblem Awakenings. That's right, Awakenings on the 3DS. Maybe someday I'll go back and beat it. I usually put games like that down. But with Digimon, I have an extra set of motivation. I am more likely to finish a, like, if Cyber Sleuth wasn't if Hacker's Memory rather was not a Digimon game, never would have finished it. Never would have. I would never even given it a shot. But if you add Digimon on it, I am more likely to do it. And I like the art style for Survive. Love that they're including a bunch of random Digimon, and I hope it releases someday, because I will play through that one all the way through. It may not be the normal type of game I enjoy, but I will play through it all the way. You think there will be a theme between the Super Ultimate, like a certain group? I do. I honestly do. I do think that at least one of the Super Ultimates is going to be some kind of new group, basically, or at least be some kind of consistent design between all 6 devices. I also am curious as to what other Super Ultimates there may be. I've got 5 slots on these charts, right? I don't think there's just 5 Super Ultimates. I think there's more. And I think that they're going to be like special Super Ultimates from connecting to the other devices. Whatever those may be, I don't know. But that's been one of my thoughts, because I don't think they're going to drop all the way down to 5 Super Ultimates after using so many on the Digital Monster X. And, you know, a lot of people I know were saying, like, oh, the Pendulum Z has small rosters, right? And that's because of the way they look on Bandai's site. They do look like small rosters. But when I put actually everything... Let's go back to the Nature Spirits device real quick, so I can see what I'm saying. Hey, there's that Nidhogg. I forgot about the Nidhogg. Like, this is not that small of a roster. Obviously, it's smaller than the Digital Monster 20th and the Pendulum 20th. But those are anniversary devices that include dozens of eggs. And that's not dozens, like half dozens of eggs. So it's to be expected that they have huge rosters. These ones weren't meant to be that way. They weren't meant to be like raise as many things as possible. These were meant to be more, have an more intimate time with your Digimon, get to know them better, spend more time with them doing things like leveling up, and let them evolve. And I'm not a fan of that. I think if we could have both, that would be obviously ideal. Have a huge number of Digimon, but also have this. But I also kind of like just having a roster of about this size. And it's bigger than the Digital Monster X roster, the version 1, first of all. It's bigger than that. It's close in size to the version 2 with what we've been shown so far. But again, keyword, what we've been shown so far. We have not been shown everything. There are still a few hidden secrets on these things. Specifically with Super Ultimate Digimon, I would be very surprised if there weren't more than 5. And I'm including Suzanomon too. He's like a super duper ultimate, according to how I have this laid out. So, I do think that, yeah, one of the Super Ultimates on each one, these mystery ones, would be likely following a theme. And I do think those new ones in that new theme would be brand new Digimon. Maybe 4 Great Dragons Super Ultimates. Could be. Absolutely could be. Maybe Super Ultimate 02 cast. I hope not on that one. But another possibility. These are very anime devices, in case you haven't noticed. Like, more than any other device except for maybe the Pendulum Progress, which was also very anime. These are very anime devices, because we have all the 02 Digimon. We have so many things from Frontier. We have even we have stuff from Kizuna, which, again, spoilers. Thanks, Bandai, for even Bandai of America. Freaking, I commented on this tweet the other day. Maybe even yesterday. They tweeted out the new figures for Agumon Bond of Courage and Gabumon Bond of Friendship, and I'm like, literally no one in the United States has seen the scene they're talking about. They're like, here's the figures from the iconic scene in Last Evolution. And like, no one has seen that movie legally in the United States. So why are you showing this? They just don't care about spoilers. Again, they don't care about spoilers, so neither do I. So sorry if that's spoilers for you. But yeah, I think there's already enough anime stuff in this to where they could just do something new, but I feel like some of the Super Ultimates may be something from 2020 that we haven't seen yet. What that may be, who knows? Could be anything. So, Bandai is secretly okay with piracy. Yeah, basically, right? So, but yeah, I think I'm good. I think I've kind of gone very off topic here at the end. So I think that means it's time to close. So, those are my thoughts for these rosters. I'll go through just show them off 1 second at a time here. So there's our Nature Spirits, Deep Savers, didn't have any changes for. Nightmare Soldiers, we had a Millenniummon. Here's what Wind Guardians. Again, I expect many of these to change. Mushroomon and Woodmon are almost definitely out, going to be replaced with brand new Digimon. Lalamon, Sunflowermon, Lilamon are also likely ones to be out that I hope won't be in there in favor of new Digimon. We have Metal Empire, Kalimon better make it in. I'm really happy with a lot of the choices I made for this one overall. I do like this. I was very limited on what I could choose for Metal Empire, because again, a lot of them get used all the time. But of all the predictions here, this is the roster I'm most happy with, where I would like to actually see a lot of these make it in. And then Virus Busters, the one I'm least happy with, but I have there's some good options in here. I still like the Shishamon to Omega Shoutmon thing going on. So many new possibilities. New Digimon are exciting. That's what I'm most excited for. That's what I can't speculate on all. I can't say like, oh, I think there's going to be a Digimon with a tree for a head and a bird for a bottom. And it's like, I have no idea. I got no clue. Like, that's just looking at the other Digimon, if I was to say like, oh, I bet there's going to be like a cute little coral Digimon. Nope, never would have guessed. Never would have guessed cute little blue ghost. Never would have guessed mineral monkeys. I would have never guessed any of that crap. So, and I'm glad. That's what I love. I love the stuff I can't guess. I love that Bandai's going back to designing like just whole new Digimon that really harken back to the way they used to design Digimon. I love it. So I'm very excited to see what we get revealed next week. Price. These retail for 4,000 yen. But when I say retail, I mean you had to pre-order them during the pre-order period that is now over. So you will not find them for 4,000 yen. If you find them for 5,000 yen or less, I would say you have found a good deal. If you find them for a little bit higher than that, I'd say that's going to be about average. But when they come out, Japan You Want usually has a good amount of stock that they mark up, usually just by about 10 US dollars. So I would expect to say you can buy each device off of Japan You Want for between $45 to $50 each when they do release in November. Again, assuming Japan You Want still has that stock and they're still going to be following that model. Hopefully they are. Elsewise, you'll be able to find on eBay and on Japanese sites that you would need to use a proxy to be able to get to. It's great the new Digimon are being made with the old... Oh, absolutely. Marine Chimeramon again, especially. Oh, I love him so much. Such a good design. Such a cool idea. Absolutely love it. So yeah, we should be getting new news next week. I am putting off... well, I'm probably going to still make it ready. I'm putting off doing a video for the brief history of Digimon Virtual Pets next week in favor of reporting on the news that will come in. So we'll see. That would be Monday. Next Monday would be when I would release that if it comes out, which means staying up late next Sunday night. So we'll see. So that's not this Monday. That's next coming Monday. We will likely have new news, which I hope to be able to report on for a video then. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, these devices come out not too long from now. Just a month and a half to go. Or probably closer to 2 months. It depends. I'll probably... If they release it in the middle of November, like they tend to release in the middle of the month, then I should be seeing mine before Thanksgiving, which would be awesome. And I'll be going crazy testing that out. Still hard at work on the Digital Monster X as well. I recently got all the Adult to Perfect evolutions done! As long as you have cleared every area and beat the special random encounter. I hate that. I have to specify that, because that means I still have plenty more work to do on that one. And Bandai has not released their official requirements, so it looks like it's still up to me. But at some point, that guide is going to be fully complete. I am working on the Perfect Ultimates now, and by the time that one's done, the Ultimates to Super Ultimates should kind of already be done, because I do both. I load up a Perfect Digimon, I do the requirements it needs, and then fast forward until it hits Ultimate. And then with that Ultimate Digimon, I also do testing with it as well into Super Ultimate. So once I get the Ultimates done, the Super Ultimate should already be done. And then I can take a break from that for a minute. So anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. Everyone enjoy the rest of your evening. If you are where I am, if you're not where I am, if you are out on the other side of the globe, well, good morning to you. I'm glad you chose to spend your morning with me. And I will talk to all of you later. If you want to chat later, you know I'm always in the Digimon Discord community, DDC, and I'm, comment here, I guess, too. I respond to every comment that requires responding, and I at least read every comment that comes in, so it does not go overlooked. Everyone, I will see you later. Enjoy raising your Digimon, and have a beautiful week. Bye-bye.